Doc. How is everybody feeling? What's been going on? Where are we all checking in from? What country or city or wherever? Hi, my darling. How are you? Um, Today, what did we do today? So today I took the girls to like a little family pool club scenario. And I'll be honest with you, I had this moment. So my girl, everybody thinks that because they're homeschooled, hi from the Netherlands, big up yourself there. Everybody thinks because my children are homeschooled that somehow they are not going to be able to socialize. And the crazy thing is that they are the most sociable children at the park, so to speak. And a part of that is really cute because anytime we're out, they're like, oh, can I play with so and so? And I'm always like, of course you can. Just go and speak to them, which they do. And today, I think because they hold hands all the time, they think that that's like the way everybody kind of shows love or connection, right? By like holding a hand. And today, there was this other little girl who was older than them. I'd say she was about like 8. And Jordan, big up yourself, babes. I think she was about 8 years old, and Maya tries to hold her hand, and immediately the girl kind of like pulls away, and my heart hurt a little, but I'm like, okay, cool. And then they they're like on this slide into the pool. Hello from Nigeria, big up yourself, baby. They go into the pool, and Maya's like, oh, you can go first. You can go on the slide first. And the little girl kind of says, no, you go. But it wasn't in a loving way. It was like in a, oh, we don't need to talk. You just go on the slide, right? Like, why are we communicating? And I had this really like awkward moment as a parent because on the one hand, I'm like, oh, it's so sweet that they just want to make friends with everybody. And on the other hand, I just wanted to drape up the little girl figuratively, not literally. I wanted to drape up the little girl and just say, be nice. Be nice to my babies. But obviously, I did not micromanage the situation. But it hurt me a little bit because I feel like the world isn't as kind as our little bubble, and my children are gonna have to learn that. They're gonna have to learn like how to navigate these spaces, and I try my best to give them the space to do so. So like I didn't even talk about it. I could see that their feelings were a little bit hurt, or they thought it was strange or weird, and I didn't talk about it because I also think that sometimes as an adult you can overtalk the situation and make it a problem where it wasn't a problem, right? It was just that they thought it was weird. And if you talk about it and make it a problem, then whose problem is it? Are they going to internalize it and say that they're the problem? Or are they going to then say that the little girl is the problem? Either way, I let it go. But I was very much like, just be nice. Like when my children are being nice to people and they're not being nice back, I just want to be like, be nice to my babies. But I didn't do that. I continued reading and I just took a mental note. Big up yourself, my darling. Antonio, I'm doing well today, thank you. I'm trying a new strategy with life. So, as many of you know, I'm an overthinker. I worry about everything, and I don't feel like the worrying has been very successful. So, I'm trying to take a page out. It's not, you can think something and know it to be true, but that doesn't mean that you feel it. So I'm not there yet on the feeling it, but I'm really working on just letting things go and not trying so hard. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's where I'm at. How are you, Antonio? I must say I didn't love your content at first, but no, I love. Anna Banana, big up yourself, babes. I'm laughing because I've got a few comments today of people saying that I used to pop up on their FYP and they didn't like me. But it seems that more and more people are slowly coming around. You know what would be interesting, Anna Banana, if you could tell me what you didn't like, just out of interest. It's a safe space, babes. We are all here and we can agree to disagree, and it's not like nothing is personal, don't worry. But I'd just be interested to hear what was it that made you change your mind. um Hi, Kay. Really random question. What toothpaste do you use? Oh, so it's a fluoride free toothpaste. It's called aloe something. It has aloe vera on the, I think it might be called aloe dent. But it's a fluoride free toothpaste that I use for my babies, and it's actually quite hard to restock when I travel. So my sister has to end up sending it via DHL when we run out. And my children brush their teeth 4 times a day. Before you think that's crazy, 1 second. So we brush in the morning and we brush in the evening before they go to bed. But they get to brush first, but then I always brush after. I read somewhere that your child should not brush their teeth by themselves until they can tie the laces. And to be honest with you, we don't have laces. We're in sandals all the time. So I don't think they can tie laces yet, which means that I always brush afterwards. So they still get the practice of brushing themselves and they also get to feel like big girls, but I get to make sure that their teeth are actually clean. And you know that I care about teeth, especially for little people. Big up yourself, baby. I've been trying to do weekly lives. I feel like I've been hitting Saturdays for a few weeks in a row, so feel free to join. Um, where are we at? Sorry, I'm scrolling through and scrolling back up. Ah, there's so much. Okay, I'm back. Hi, Princess Bambi Ambi. How are you, my darling? There's so much to come. A mom of four. I so get you. It's so like, it's funny. I was talking to a friend about the whole preparing your child for the world, and he was saying that you can prepare your child for the world, but you can't prepare the world for your child. And I think it's so true. And I don't want the world to change them too much and like rob them of their innocence. And I know it's inevitable, but we can still want to take it a little bit slow. Jordan, my little girl has this all the time. Her siblings are 8 and 15, so she's drawn to all older kids. I think also because my girls do spend all their time with me, they are very comfortable with all age groups. And what I will say was beautiful. So at this particular pool, they have like a foam machine that they like put bubbles everywhere. And there was this lady who was I think with just a friend. It wasn't her child, the baby that she was with, but they were playing, and basically she was playing with the little baby and putting the bubbles on her head, and my girls got involved and they started putting bubbles on this lady's head. And thankfully, like, big up the lady, this random lady at the pool, because she was really entertaining them, and it so warmed my heart that somebody was kind of reciprocating the positive energy. But yeah, the kids their age, they're not as social as I would expect, considering they're supposed to be, my children are supposed to technically be the awkward ones, having not been in school. But when they're interacting with other children their age, those other children aren't particularly social. So it's a bit ironic. Would you ever let your kids try takeout like McDonald's as they get older? So, Kareen, I think people get confused. I don't eat McDonald's. I have not eaten McDonald's in God knows how many years. And the last time I ate McDonald's, I was at JFK, so New York Airport, and my flight was delayed, and McDonald's was the only thing open. So I got some fries. This is long before children. And I got fries and they didn't taste good. So when people say about, letting my children try McDonald's or whatever other fast food, essentially saying that I should go and eat my food at a nice restaurant, and after the restaurant, I should then take my children to go and eat McDonald's just so that they could be exposed to it. And that to me sounds mad. And so it's not that I think my children are never going to try McDonald's, but they're never going to try McDonald's with me because I don't eat it. So I think, again, people have this idea that I'm eating certain things and just keeping it away from them, which is the case for dessert. By the way, if you've seen Desserts After Dark, my series where I put my kids to bed and together you and I taste something that tends to be on the sweet side, of course, desserts, that will come later with me. But in terms of fast food, it won't happen with me. It will definitely happen with other people. What languages do your children speak? S Flower, big up yourself, baby. So my kids' first language is French, and they also speak English, and they will tell you proudly that they speak patois, as in Jamaican patois. Why worry when you can pray? I like that. Why worry when you can pray? That should be the thought of the night. Check out the First 7 Years podcast. Ooh, babes, that sounds like something right up my street. I will. I've never heard of the First 7 Years podcast. I'm guessing it's to do with raising children. Um, Big up yourself. I'm gonna call you T, baby. How are you? Is there something wrong with fluoride? So I've read a bit about fluoride in toothpaste, and whilst what I have read is not conclusive, it was enough to make me not want my children to have fluoride. So for that reason, I have fluoride free toothpaste. But I would not say that it is black and white. Even when I'm reading about it, it tends to be a lot of mixed messages, a lot of different opinions. But I have chosen fluoride free because I think just it's an easy thing not to have, and if it is bad, why have it? You know what I mean? Nice. Are you planning to teach them any other language? No, babes. So I don't speak French fluently. People think that I do. I learned French whilst I was pregnant, and so I speak French to my children. I don't think I could handle learning another language because I'm still struggling with this one. But I would love for my children to be able to speak multiple languages, even more than the two. And I think that if you have two from you're a baby, it's easier for you to add on more. Finally seeing you live, babes. Cheds, where have you been? I'm not that bad. I do come on the lives. You seem like such a powerful, well-spoken woman. Thank you very much. I don't know about the powerful part, but I do talk too much, and if you do anything for long enough, I believe that you get good at it. That makes sense. S-Flow, big up yourself, baby. Thank you. We're fluoride free and brush 3 times. Big up yourself, babes. Scrolling through. Hey, Paul, how are you, my darling? Your girl, Soph. Big up yourself, babes. How are you? Um, ah, I just want someone to tell people who do TikTok tech to make comments easier to read on a live. Like, I mean, TikTok support is awful at the best of times, but if somebody could make that happen, I would be eternally grateful. Where's the best place for getting clean ingredient foods in Thailand? Babe, that's a huge question. Thailand is a very big place. I haven't been to everywhere in Thailand. So I've only been to Phuket, I've been to Krabi, I've been to Bangkok. But yeah. Oh, and I've been to some other islands. Koh Yao Noi. I forget everywhere we've been. Koh Yao Noi, Koh Yao Yai. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you where's the best place. So whenever I travel somewhere and I look on Google Maps and I find the nearest market, like the local market, I do my best to not go to supermarkets. And I go to the local market and I pick up my ingredients there. But I wouldn't be able to tell you for the whole country. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What do you keep saying? Pick up yourself, but no, I don't say pick up yourself. I say big up yourself, babes. So, is that a Jamaican thing to say big up yourself? It just basically, I'm hailing you. Oh, that's probably not helpful either. Hail. How to explain big up yourself in proper English? Anybody? How does one there are certain things in patois that I just don't feel like you can translate the words, but not the essence. So like I'm saying hi, but hi is too sterile. I'm saying like, I see you, welcome, big up yourself. I hope you feel good. I hope that makes sense. Where are you looking? Also, kids, babes. We travel. So I've been traveling since January of 2025. And I do my best wherever. So I haven't been to a cold country since January 2025. And so my morning routine, if you like, is literally lying in the sun for 20 minutes before I start my day. And I've then started trying to incorporate some exercise. I genuinely feel that my joints are getting older. And so I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of exercise in the morning. I haven't been as good at it since we've moved to this particular house because the spacing around the pool is a bit odd, and I'll be honest with you, I do it naked, and there's higher buildings that could definitely look into our garden, so I haven't exercised as much, but I'm trying. I absolutely love that. Sarah, big up yourself, baby. What about fluoride in the water? Yeah, you can't get away from fluoride. So where I am, we use bottled water, or like it's a dispenser. And again, even in that, I was thinking the other day, there's plastic because it's these machines, and so they buy these massive bottles and they put it in the machine, and the bottle itself is plastic. And I was like, that's probably not great for our bodies. But again, I say to everybody, we do the best that we can with the tools that we have. I have yet to see a glass water bottle dispenser, and so I do my best. But you're completely right. You can't get away from everything. Conj, big up yourself, baby. How are you? How do you make sure to find chemical-free hair products for your girls? So my girls aren't on a really big hair routine, to be honest with you. Maya's hair in particular is growing super, super quickly. I brought with me some sulfate-free hair shampoo. Again, it's one of the things that has to get sent to me along with the toothpaste. But I don't use like gels or stuff in their hair. I just wash it and use it like a conditioner. There's not a big like hair care routine. Again, when I'm in hot countries, I can get things like aloe. So for my own hair, sometimes I'll do like an aloe vera mask and just rub it all over my hair and my face. But I'm not your go-to for hair care. As you can see, I have two big doodle plots. I'm not the person that's gonna be able to tell you a lot about hair. I'm very sorry. We can only do so much. Human beings have ruined everything. I'm with you, babes. Um, big up yourself, my darling. I made snack boxes for the flight. How did your snack boxes go? It's funny, somebody else said to me that they took a long haul flight to Australia from the UK and they cooked all their food because of me, and they were like, it was amazing. These things honestly make me very happy. I like to know that all of this yapping is not in vain. So thank you for sharing. You're going to Denmark and I'm taking snack boxes. Amazing. You can make French fries and chicken nuggets at home. I'm aware, babes. Thank you for telling me. Um, the obsession with kids having fast food is crazy. I do think it's crazy. I think a lot of things I look around in the world and just feel a little bit odd to me. And the whole fast food thing is odd to me. Miss April, I am so proud of you for health food journey. I've changed my diet to fiber. Big up yourself, Christelle. Most of us, I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's something like 80+% of us are not getting enough fiber in our diet. That is a huge amount. So Mia, my darling, how are you? You love my hair? Babes, you must really like me. If you look at these doodle plots and you're like, I love your hair, babe, love is blind, but I will take it. Um, I will take it every time. Where my kids also use fluoride-free toothpaste. Terry Ann, big up yourself, my darling. How are you? Do I have a hair care routine? No, not at all. So I really wanted to get braids, but I've said before, hair is thinner than I would like on both sides. Um, so I don't think it's a good idea for me to get braids. I had braids last year. I got them done in South Africa. They were tiny, teeny tiny. I wanted like box braids, and she, I guess, was inspired and she did teeny tiny ones. And when I took them out, I was actually in Malaysia and took them out, and they had like 3 people taking out all the hair. And I just felt like I was losing more hair. I don't know if I'm convinced that these braids are protective. I'm not convinced. So I was even looking today on getting my hair braided out here, and I was thinking of just doing like 2 cane rows rather than the individual braids, and then I'll take it out pretty quickly. I think I probably kept the braids in too long. I kept them in for like, I want to say like 8 weeks, which was probably not a good idea either. You started using Gotology toothpaste. Babes, I have no idea what that is. Tell us, what is Gotology toothpaste? Changing my health has improved dramatically. You have more energy. That is amazing. What's wrong with supermarkets? Oh, kids. For me personally, I hate when people say that. I know I'm saying for me personally. Of course, it is personally if it is for you. Anyway, sorry. So I just think that a lot of times when you're going to particular countries, the supermarkets tend to be foreign owned. So for example, in Bali, you'll go to these supermarkets and they are owned by expats or, just other people, not local people. And I prefer my money to go to the people. Like, I prefer to see the person that has a little market stall and I'm giving her or him my money directly. I also think that you are getting better produce in terms of your vegetables. You're more likely to be getting better options. Of course, there's inconveniences to going to a market, but for me, I'm always going to be that market girl. Like even when I'm in Jamaica, I did a video about going to Coronation Market because people are afraid of Coronation Market. I'm like, why? You get to give your money directly to people from the land, which makes me very happy. Um, I have steered away from fast food for years now and give my kids very limited screen time and only on certain days. We are closer and much healthier and aware. Big up yourself, Sarah. That is amazing. And also, I just want to stress that little changes make a massive difference. And the only reason I talk about parenting online, I never intended to. It was never my intention because, as we know, it's a very sensitive topic. But I did one video once and realized that what I consider normal isn't actually normal. And so I continue to share just to broaden the spectrum, just to add to the conversation. And I say to people, take the things that work for you that I'm saying and then just dash with the rest. And ultimately, I just wanted to show that things that people may think is not possible, like anything is possible, especially when it comes to how you want to raise your babies. Like anything is possible, even if it is not reflected on a day-to-day basis in your immediate environment. Hi, babes. Good to see you again. Are you still in South Africa? No, Baba. We left South Africa in February, end of February. I think I left South Africa. I can't remember, but I'm not in South Africa. But we had an amazing time. I'm guessing you're from South Africa. Is raising twins difficult? Would you want to have more kids? I think that raising children who are close in age but not the same age is actually more difficult than twins. A lot of people think that raising twins is hard. I don't think so. I do think that when they're baby, like in that alien phase, when you have to hold up their head, you're breastfeeding them, you're tandem feeding, and they physically can't help you, like they can't hold on to you when you have to pick them up. I used to have to wear wrist braces because my wrists began hurting, like serious pain. But aside from that, the physical aspect of raising twins, I think it's absolutely magical. And I always wanted twins. I always said I was gonna have twins, and I'm very grateful that the universe gave me what I asked for. Would I want to have more children? I don't think I'll be having any more children. I don't believe in having children over the age of 40, and I will soon be 40. I'm not with anybody, so I don't see myself having any more money for more children. um, yes, it is. Deborah, baby, you should know by the time I get to the comment, I've long gone talk, so I don't even know what it is, but I'm glad that you agree. Naturally occurring hydroxyapatite. Babes, that is way above my pay grade. Jamaican and London ting. I'm not sure what that means, but yes. I must stay awesome. Big up yourself, baby. Thank you. Shoo shoo chocolat. Thank you very much, my darling. Be a clap or a pat on the back. You're very kind. A friend of mine just called me actually before I jumped on this live, and he was just being very complimentary, and I was just like, that's so kind of you. Thank you very much for being kind and saying the things that you love about my character. And I was saying, I'm in this like age, I don't know if it's because my dad's getting older, but I feel like it's really important to let people know how you feel about them before their funeral. You have this tendency to kind of take it for granted that people know how you feel about them. And I'm in this, I don't know if it's because I keep getting signs like, the big C keeps affecting people's lives in different ways, but I feel it's really important to let people know how you feel about them. And that's what reminded me. Where did you stay before starting to travel? So I was living in London and I had my restaurant businesses. And then I closed everything down in December 2024. And then I went traveling. The plan was to return 4 months later. So I was only supposed to be traveling for 4 months, but I came back to the UK to film MasterChef and Cooking with the Stars. And when I did that, I just felt like, why am I there? I just got this energy like it was time to leave. So I basically packed up and left. My goodness, you're almost 30. I thought you were in your early 30s, if not late 20s. very kind. Very kind. Again, you must love me because love is blind. Or late 20. I wish, babes. I don't really wish, I say that aging is a privilege. Um, and I definitely see more like laugh lines, but I think laugh lines are okay. It means that you had a lot of joy in your life, right? um, where are the girls? They're sleeping. A lot of people ask me that when I'm on a live. So I would never be on a live if my children were awake. On a live, if my children were awake, they are sleeping and they've been sleeping for a lot of hours. No. um, scrolling. Sorry, it's not my fault. I promise you. Oh, why does it do this to me? Like, just let me stay where I am. You have a beautiful skin tone, just beautiful golden. Thank you very much. We are all being sold and sold to, and fast food is just one of the things that we're being sold 100%. Are you watching? I've never watched The Apprentice, even when I was on The Apprentice. So I came to the UK, just in case some people don't know, I came to the UK from Jamaica to be on The Apprentice. I was on series 11, so about like 10 years ago. And when I was on The Apprentice, I left that process and I immediately went to start refurbishing my first restaurant. So my first restaurant, the building was originally an office, and I had to refurbish the restaurant, obviously, to make it what it was. So I couldn't watch TV anyway, and because there was no time, I was chasing this clock because I opened my first restaurant the day before my last episode on The Apprentice, and so there was no time to watch it. So I've never watched The Apprentice since I have been on The Apprentice. Is it good? Is it worth watching? Is this series a good series? They cut out all of Rihanna's selling segments for the TV selling task, and she was a top seller. I'm guessing I have no idea what you're talking about, babes. How many episodes are in? Not that I'd have time to watch it, but at least I could try catch up on something. Use rosemary oil, batana oil, and castor oil, and it will grow your hair. So it's funny because some people are really into oils for growing hair, and then other people will be like, yeah, oils don't help. I don't think I'm disciplined. I see people online really with beautiful, beautiful hair, and a part of me is like, oh my gosh, I'd love to do what they do. And I mean, I don't know if it's even possible because I know a part of hair growth is genetics, but I just don't think I'm disciplined enough to really take care of my hair, to be honest with you. If I had a small, little, round head, I would 100% chop off my hair. But baby, my head is very big and very long. And just because you see something on other people does not mean you should do it for yourself. What is your religion? I'm not religious or spiritual beliefs. No, consider I don't have a spiritual belief either. I think that I take the morals that maybe people take from religion, treat others how you'd want to be treated, respect, all of the good things. But I kind of just move through the world hoping that if I drop down tomorrow, I have left the world better than I found it. That's kind of like my main thing. I would love to meditate more, but I always fall asleep. I'm always tired. So once I close my eyes, I'm done. I do think that Buddhism looks like a nice flex, but again, I haven't spent the time to really dig deep and understand these different doctrines. So I'm again not a good expert where that is concerned. I'm currently in South Africa. I'm actually Ugandan. Pick up yourself, baby. Will you be heading there? The food is amazing and very affordable. You and the girls would enjoy it. Apart from the humidity, babes, we can do humidity. So many places that we visit are very hot, very humid, and we're good. As long as we have a swimming pool, the girls will be fine. I will put Uganda on my list. It's not been on there, to be honest with you. I don't really know anything about Uganda. Did you study culinary arts in uni, or was it a natural gift that you pursued? So at university, I did creative writing and psychology. I went to Columbia University in New York. I did not want to go to university, but my dad is one of 15 children. He did not get to go to university, so it was very important that his children went. And I had watched too many Hollywood movies, and I was like, if the smart people go to an Ivy League, then I want to be there. It was a very different experience being there. I finished my degree in 3 years instead of 4 because I just wanted to get out. And then after I had my children, so I think there were about 9 months when I started studying law. So I got, but in terms of food, I I just cook. I don't consider myself a chef, although that's like what I've been labeled. But I always consider it to be a privilege that I cook and people are happy to pay for it. Do you eventually want to live in Jamaica? 100%. Jamaica is always the goal. I just need to earn some more money because Jamaica is not cheap, especially the way I live in Jamaica. It's not cheap. Scrolling through, hearing you speak about learning French has inspired me to start learning Spanish. Babes, big up yourself. Honestly, languages are incredible. I've never been to Ghana. I've not been to West Africa. I've only been to South Africa and I've only been to Morocco. And I always say that Moroccans don't consider themselves African, so that's a bit problematic. But I would love to explore more of the continent. I love your accent. Thank you very much, babes, especially because it's very mixed up. Where am I now? I'm in Indonesia. Um, you hope to teach your children Spanish, babe. Honestly, it can happen. Hey, Eleni, big up yourself, babes. How are you? Um, Hi, Albi. How are you? Coronation is boss. Yes, I need to come home. I have a video that's gonna post on Instagram talking about the fact that I went to look for fry fish because I'm craving Hellshaw. And whilst the fish was good, babes, it wasn't Hellshaw. Can't beat market on a Sunday morning in Trinidad. Love a market trip. Honestly, market trips are the one. Like, not just for the produce. I mean, like, if you go to a market in Indonesia or Thailand, I guess because of the language differences, I can't really get like the vibes. But when you go to like Coronation Market, it's not even just about the food. It is about the energy. It is about the jokes. It's about the banter. It's just about, I love it. I love the whole atmosphere. I love everything about it. Do you have a video on how you make your kids sunscreen? I do. I posted it on TikTok, but it would be hard to find because it would be really far back. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the sunscreen recipe. Um, Thank you very much, Melinda. Big up yourself, baby. Are you in the Middle East? No. So I was in February. I was in Dubai in January and February, I think. Something so. Yes, something. Or March. What month are we in now? March. So January and February I was in Dubai. I'm not in the Middle East now. Um, are you an advocate for homeschooling? I am an advocate for homeschooling. It really works for me and my children. My children learn very differently, and one of the things that I love is that I'm able to give them that attention to make sure that I tailor our learning to suit their abilities. But also, I believe that learning is so much more than just books and maths and English. Don't get me wrong, I think those things are super important as well. And people expect me to be really anti-academics, which couldn't be further from the truth. I thrived in academia. I like doing exams. I like being tested. I like being competitive. But I also think that the way we are and what we're learning outside of like a traditional school, my children would never be able to get those skills at this young age from going to a traditional school. Also, I think that we must remember that schools are businesses. And so this idea that, it's kind of just a moral institution that we all sign up for is not quite fair, and we must remember that we are consumers, so therefore you should pick the school that aligns with your values and what you want for your. I think because the world to me doesn't necessarily reflect what I want for my children, then I have to be a little bit more discerning. From Trinidad, big up yourself, babes. How are you? Are you going to be lodging in the States? So I'm trying to get to the States, I think, before the year is finished. Obviously, I'm looking at the political landscape, and a part of me is a little bit nervous. But I do think that the universe wants me to go to America, so we will see. Where do you get your jewelry? As in my Jamaica chain, I got it from a closing down sale many years ago. And my earrings I got in Bali. But yes, I'm not really into jewelry. As you can tell, I'm quite understated in general. You're great. I love that. What are you nervous about with the States? I'm just nervous about ice. In a nutshell. Yeah, it just again, it's sometimes when you see things in the news, you're not really quite sure how it plays with your feet on the ground. So I haven't really got my head around it, to be honest with you. And also, I'm not really sure what part of the States I should be going to. So I went to school in New York. I have been to Miami. We used to have a house in Miami, so I used to go to Miami all the time. But I've never been to LA, for example, and I would like to go there. I'd also like to go to Chicago to eat. You can tell I kind of do a lot of things for food. I'm doing well, babes. I can't complain. No, she isn't in the Middle East. The airspace is here. Oh, are they still closed? My friend flew from Bali to Dubai a few weeks ago. So I thought everything was opened up now. I didn't realize it was still closed. So thank you for sharing that. Scrolling through. I'm very sorry. Where are we at? This thing is just so frustrating. I say it every single time, but it's really frustrating. Do they wake up easily or just go to sleep and stay in bed? Some they go to sleep and they stay to bed. So my children have been very good sleepers from, I read this book called Baby Secrets. And so from 8 months, they have been sleeping 7 to 7 with one wake up at 11 o'clock to have a feed. And then at 11 months, they were sleeping straight from 7 to 7. Now that we have been traveling, they wake up one time to come into my bed. They never used to do that before in England, and now they come into my bed. And I shared a video the other day that initially I was like, oh, maybe this is regression and maybe they need to stay in their own beds. And then I realized that very soon they won't want to come in my bed. So I literally make space in preparation for them and look forward to when they climb in. Florida would be nice for you and the girls, I think. I think so too. I have to figure out what I would be doing in the States. But I can tell you, I'm not running back to England. In order to travel the way you do you need to get visitors visas? Yes. So I have two passports. I have a Jamaican passport and I have a British passport. And most times I'm traveling on my British passport. And for a lot of the destinations that I go to, it is a visa on arrival. As a 19-year-old girl from the islands, you are truly a role model. I read more books because of you. Melinda, big up yourself. I'm currently reading a really good book called Blue Sisters. It is by Coco, I can't remember, Coco something. And when I tell you that this book, I can't put it down. In 2 days, I've read like 200 pages. It's a very, very good book. Apparently, the author's famous. Somebody said, I don't know anybody, but I would highly recommend it. And I just finished, last week I finished When Breath Becomes Air. Again, another good book that is a memoir. I've only cried in 3 books, and I cried at the end of that book. So just if you do read it, just be prepared. It's the topic is heavy. You can rent an RV and do a road trip to different states. Babes, I like what you're saying. I've never I've never done a road trip, but also I can't really do drives longer than 4 hours. That's how long it takes to get from one end of Jamaica to the other. So anything more than that, I'm just like, take a plane. And then my friend once drove from, I think it was North Carolina to Florida or something for like 14 hours. I was like, what are you doing with your life? Um, Oils moisturize your hair, which helps maintain length. Vitamins are also very important, which I don't do either. So I think I just have to be satisfied with normal length hair. Zainab, big up yourself, babes. Since you're homeschooling your kids, what do you do regarding subjects or topics that you're not so strong in? There is no topic that I would not be strong in, especially for a 5-year-old. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I just mean like it at this age we're focusing on literacy. I like to focus on logical thinking because I do think that common sense is lacking in today's world. But there's no subject, even when they're older. As I said, like I was very good at school. I did. So I don't know where you're from, babes, but in Jamaica we do CXC and you do CXC in grade 11. I did maths in grade 9, just to like put it into perspective. Like academics, that's kind of like my flex. So I'm not worried about that at all as they get older. Um, where are we at? My friends and I look up to you so much. We're studying law. Amazing. And I help you maintain discipline. Babes, big up yourself on the law. And I'm not sure how I help you maintain discipline, but I'm glad that I'm having a positive effect in your life. um, James, how are you, my darling? It's the fun part. of adventure and exploring. 100%. I think also sometimes people think that in order to teach your children, you have to have all the answers. And I think that's the main thing about me sharing the whole speaking French journey. You can learn with your children. You don't have to know everything ahead of time. Cleon, big up yourself, baby. When traveling around cities, TIY. Is TIY some young people abbreviation? Because I don't know what it means. Stay, do you have activities or tasks that you give the girls? Babes, Rue, I'm gonna need you to wheel and come again with a question because I don't understand what you're saying. Talia, big up yourself, my darling. How long do you plan to travel for? Summer, great question. I think that by the end of this year, we will need to settle from the perspective of extracurricular activities. So at the minute, I feel like it's everything has an opportunity cost, and it's cool. Like we travel, I find a gymnastics class here or I find a tennis class there, but you can't maintain extracurricular activities when you travel this much. A lot of times we're in a different city every week, we're in a different country every month, so you can't maintain the extracurriculars. And I think that as the girls get a bit older, they're going to need more of that in their lives. So I do think that by the end of the year I will have to figure out where we ought to be. Oh, you were talking about the road trip. Sorry, it's slow. I'm sorry, babes. That's definitely my bad. But I do agree with you. um, oh gosh, scrolling through because this is just ridiculous. Is it really expensive traveling the way you do? Really great question. I don't think you have to travel and for it to be expensive. One thing I will say is that there is that me and the girls take that is less than like 2 grand, and that's just because there's three of us. So obviously if you're traveling by yourself or you're traveling with one child, it would be better, or if you had two incomes, that would also be better. But also in terms of like living standards, I won't lie to you, babes, I can't really do cheap living. And that's also because when we first started traveling, it was very much like see everything. And this second year, we don't have to go everywhere. I'm revisiting countries that we've been to before. So like when we went to South Africa, I've been to South Africa before. When we're in Dubai, I've been to Dubai. I've been to Abu Dhabi. I've been to these places before. So I don't feel the need to constantly be outside, which means that I especially need my living accommodation enough that I want to stay indoors. And there's also different like requirements that I have for different countries based on what is available. So I don't like the way I travel, I don't think it is as cheap as it could be. But at the same time, my rent in London was 2,650 pounds a month. It was a 4-bedroom, 4-story house. And so you take that money and you can make that money go much further in other places. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 because the flight part is what then makes it more expensive. Because if you can imagine you're spending 2 grand every month to get on a plane, that starts to add up. You know what I mean? But the living part isn't necessarily where the money goes. I hope that makes sense. Where are we at? Oh, yeah, we did that. Good morning, my favorite parent. Hi, my darling. How are you? Miriam, if you were to settle somewhere, where would it be? So ideally, I would love to be in Jamaica. I just don't think we're there yet. My second favorite place that we have traveled to is Bali, Indonesia. I feel like the energy feels a lot like Jamaica. The cost of food is really great. I love the aesthetics of the housing. It has its negatives, of course, but I think it's a very nice place to be. I could see myself maybe living there for like a year. I couldn't see myself living there for a very long time, but a year we could do. Do the girls ever suggest countries that they want to visit? Would you explore a new country for your girls? As in a new country to live or a new country to visit? So last year, most of the countries that we went to were new. I'd been to Vietnam before because when I was Miss Jamaica Universe, Miss Universe was in Vietnam. I'd been to Malaysia before because the girls have some family there. But aside from that, all the other places were new destinations. The girls every day want to go to Jamaica because they want Hellshire Fry Fish and Festival. That's all they say. They'll tell you that they're not going back to London because there are no coconuts. And but other than that, it's just Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. I have brainwashed them very, very well. Oops, anyhow, was just listening. You are so articulate. Beautiful, loud girl. You sure about LA? Talia, I'm not sure. We will see. I haven't yet. Blue Sisters. Honestly, if you love fiction, like a piece of fiction that you can really get completely soaked up and lost in, I really recommend it. I'm over halfway through, which I think is a good enough read to be able to recommend it. And let me know if you can trust my recommendations. In Kuwait, the airspace is completely closed. I was supposed to go to Thailand spring break, and you can't. Mal, I hope you're just staying safe. It's a very strange time that we're currently living in. I don't even really know what is going on, to be fair. What's the air book about? Oh, okay. The When Breath Becomes Air, it's a memoir by a neurosurgeon who dies of cancer. That's essentially what it's about. I won't give any more details away, but it's a very, very good book. I hope to meet you one day. You're such a blessed and beautiful soul. God bless you and your family. Victoria, big up yourself, baby, and thank you for being so kind. Melinda, how long do you plan on homeschooling your girls? Really great question. So I went to a school in Jamaica that I loved, and I felt that I did really well, even more so like looking back than when I was there. And it would definitely be one of the schools that I would consider to send my children to. But I also appreciate that I graduated in 2005, which is clearly a long time ago. So I would just need to check that the school is still the school that I grew up in, because as we know, the world has changed a lot. So I did a video quite recently about some of the questions that I'm going to ask a school. And one of them, of course, is like, what are you feeding the children? Are you relying a lot on screens? Because clearly that wasn't a thing for me back in the day. And so I say all that to say that if I found a school that was what I felt was right for them, I would send them to school from the time that we settle wherever we settle. But I'm also not in a rush to send them to a school just for the sake of sending them to a school. So I don't know is the answer. Um, Common sense is not common at all. Be kind. Big up yourself, baby. Hi, April. I followed you. Thanks to Des. Thanks for the content. Thank you very much, babes. Where are we at? Have you ever been to Trinidad? Aaliyah, are you also from Trinidad? A Paul is from Trinidad. I have been to Trinidad. My dream is to go for Carnival. I even messaged a friend of mine. She went for Carnival last year, or yeah, I think she went last year, and going back again. So she lives in the States, but she's going back again for 2028. And I said, let us make sure the universe is listening so that I can be there. I would love to come back to Trinidad for Carnival. What do your parents think of your travels? Do they get worried about your safety? So I don't have a mother, and my dad, he kind of supports the vibes. He was a little bit concerned in South Africa, just because the taxi drivers were really making me scared unnecessarily. So like the first 2 days in Cape Town City, I was taking taxis, and then I rented my own car because I like, there's something about driving in a country. You feel like you can actually get into the country. And then there were billboards like talking about femicide and just concerning things that I'd never seen before. And so I was casually talking to my dad about what I was observing, and he was like, should you leave? Like, should you leave now? He also asked me if we should get a bodyguard. He was definitely spiraling. But I told him, let me just like see what it's actually like, and not just from the taxi driver's perspective, and then we can make an informed decision. And I stayed because I didn't feel off key at all. I didn't think that anything was going to happen. But he definitely had a moment in South Africa where he was just like, what are you doing? Sorry about your mom, you didn't know. Don't worry, baby. No need to be sorry at all. It's something that I speak about very openly. It doesn't even feel like my story anymore, to be honest with you. It feels like just a movie or a book that I read. Um, every time we feel like procrastinating, we would say, what would April do? Oh my gosh. That is so funny. But speak as you say that, would April approve? As you say that, I realize a lot of people rely on motivation to do things, and relatively recently, I realized it has nothing to do with motivation, and it's all about the discipline. So it's great that you already acknowledged that. Crime rate in South Africa is insane. It has a lot to do with high unemployment. Yes, there's a huge employment issue, especially amongst young people. I think it was something like 70% of young people in South Africa are unemployed. And so you're going to have a lot of problems from that. But I think, in the same way that I'm from Jamaica and people have this perception that Kingston is extremely dangerous, to me, I could make like comparisons with Cape Town, in the sense that there were clearly areas that I felt I should not go unless I'm invited, but I didn't feel uncomfortable just like going around on my day-to-day vibe. 2 grand in which currency? For the flight, pounds, 2,000 pounds, unfortunately. Jellyfish, big up yourself, babes. Yes, 100% pounds. How are you, Tia? I'm good, my darling. How are you? What do you think about the US? That is a very broad question. What do you mean? Did you go to uni? Yes, I went to university after I was Miss Jamaica. So I took a gap year. I won Miss Jamaica when I was 19. So I took a gap year that ended up being 2 years. And then after that, I went to university. What are my kids' names? Maya and Nova. Grateful, big up yourself, my darling. Oh, it's all gone. How did you manage with your girls at that age? How did I manage what, babes? Sorry, I probably was talking about something and your comment would have been really relevant at the time, and now I have no idea what we're talking about, baby. Yes, you're a Trini. Big up yourself, my darling. Do you believe in disciplining children by yelling or giving punishments, such as having no devices? Babes, you must be new here. I don't believe in raising voices at children or anyone, to be honest with you. I never responded very well as a child. My parents never had to raise their voice at me. And so it's not something that I feel the need to do with my children. And to be honest with you, it's so funny. If a door slams too loud, like the wind closed the door the other day and they started crying, I was like, why are you crying? And then I realized it's because they're just not used to loudness. It's not a part of their environment. They find it very strange. One time we had a cat in England. We had 2 cats anyway. And one time I told the cat to get off the couch, and I told the cat strongly, like, get off the couch, to the cat. And they were bawling because they're just not used to anyone in their space raising their voice, which is something that I'm proud of, even though it's like, babes, calm down. And so the yelling thing is another thing. I also don't believe that at a age my role as their mother is to discipline them. I've spoken about this a few times, but I think of it more as natural consequences, and that is how my children learn. I don't feel the need to discipline them. In terms of giving punishments and things like that, such as taking devices, my children are completely screen free. That's another thing. There's nothing really for me to take away. Because of the type of life that we live, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, you're not gonna have a coconut today or something, right? Like, I don't really have anything to take away. They don't have lots of toys. They don't have these types of things. So there's not really anything to take away. Hi, Asim. How are you, my darling? Where am I from? I'm from Jamaica. Babes, it's time for me to leave. Got to get up. Oh, got to get supper ready. I'm looking forward to your next live. Babes, big up yourself, and I hope you enjoy your dinner and it is something delicious. Will your kids ever get to try cake? Yes, they will get to try cake, just not yet. Scrolling back through. Where are we at? I got 22-month old. She doesn't like to sit on her high chair when eating. Oh, that's so like interesting because when I used to travel with the girls when they were younger, no, they don't sit in high chairs, but when they were younger, I used to really not like the fact that I didn't have a high chair for them, because for us that was so much a part of our routine that dinner just became annoying when there's nowhere to properly sit. And I'm a big advocate for sitting in a high chair. I know that's not helpful. I would love to have a conversation with you. I know I could learn so much. Melinda, you are very kind. I'm not sure that I'm as interesting as you think that I am, but thank you. I hope you keep making these lives. I try and do them once on Saturdays. You know, on TikTok, I used to do lives every single day. My core posse will tell you I used to be on an exercise bike. I used to be reading something or like sharing something. I used to have topics every day for us to talk about. The time difference makes it a little bit more difficult, but I do enjoy the lives. I like hearing from people. I don't know why. And most times people crack me up. And usually there's always one crazy person that comes in. And so I'm new to YouTube, by the way, which you can probably tell by the content. I'm new to it, but I try. I haven't really figured out YouTube, to be honest with you. So any tips, please feel free to share. How did you choose your children's names? Really great question. So Maya is named after Maya Angelou, my favorite author of all time, who was also born on the 4th of April. And Aries people are the best people. And her last book called Maya and Mom and Maya completely changed my life. Make vlogs. I'm not, the thing about the vlog thing, right? I'm going to come back to the names thing, but the thing about the vlog thing is that I don't understand if I'm supposed to speak all the way through or if you're just supposed to speak and then like add background music. And I also don't know what people like to see from a vlog. So again, babes, any help is much appreciated. So yeah, so Maya and Mom and Maya was her last book, her last autobiographical book, and it really changed my life because I had had this feeling about mother-daughter relationships, and it kind of just confirmed everything that I felt. So that was Maya, and then I have a thing about names that end in the syllable "a," and I find them to be soft but still powerful. And so I was thinking, okay, I didn't know what I was having. So I had to come up with two boys' names and two girl names. And so I had Maya from the get-go, even before I knew I was going to have children. And then I was like, what is going to be the second name for a girl? And I picked Nova because I was like, my child is going to be the brightest star and light up this place. And so I love it. I love their names, and they are so their name. I think names are super important, and I do believe that my girls embody their names, and I think they sound so good. They just sound so good. Just your daily casual life, day in the life of a single mom traveling with two children. Babes, I'm gonna get on it. How to homeschool, eat healthy, no children. Honestly, you have reminded me that I have to get on the long form content, especially because YouTube, I have subscribers on YouTube, and because I don't have enough watch time, it's not even monetized. So babes, we need all the liquor change. Um, Hi Tisha, I follow you on IG. The algorithm brought me to your live. Big up yourself, babes. Thank you, my darling S Flower. I hope that I'll be a mother like you. I look up to you. Thank you very much, Ashki. Very, very kind. Honestly, you will be the best kind of mother that you want to be. As I've said it before, but there are things that it's perfectly fine that I do that people disagree with, right? Like we all have different dreams and different desires for ourselves and our families. Are you open to sweet or waiting until they're older? Are you not open? Oh, sorry. Are you not open to sweets? I'm waiting until they're older. In a nutshell. Do you eat cake on special occasions? So I eat cake, by the way. Everybody, I eat cake. I eat sweet things. I eat sugar. But I'm also grown. So I think sometimes people see the content and they make up like narratives in their mind. And people don't like the alcohol or the coffee comparison, but to me, those comparisons make sense in the sense that yes, my child will probably drink some wine in the future. They will have a coffee in the future. I just don't think that age is now. And that's the thing that people sometimes get a little bit confused with. So my children don't eat cake at all at the minute. I don't need a special occasion to eat cake. I have a series that's desserts after that. Before I came on here, I ate 5 cakes. I didn't eat the whole thing because that would have been a lot, but I ate several spoons of 5 cakes and I filmed it. I eat cake. You just got to be consistent and you'll get monetized ASAP. Post a short daily to get the subscribers, then make the vlogs to have the connection with your subscribers. So I've been doing better at the posting the shorts because I can repurpose things that I already use, but you are 100% correct. I'm going to this is what I'm taking from this live, is that I need to get my SHIT together and get on it. Learning French on my own, super hard but super fun. Any tips, babes? Completely immerse yourself. So change the language on your phone. Only watch things in French with perhaps English subtitles if you're like watching Netflix or something. I read in French as much as possible. I listen to French as much as possible. Go to Le Monde, FR, like why am I speaking French? Go to the news websites in French, read and completely immerse yourself into French. Learning like little lessons each week is not gonna cut it if you want to be fluent. You're excited. Espo, I love your energy. I know I'm just reading, but I can feel it, babes. Love it. Were your girls born in Jamaica? No, Bubs, they weren't. They were in Jamaica for a very long time in my womb before they were born, but they weren't born in Jamaica. The main reason they weren't born in Jamaica, to be honest with you, is because I don't know if you know, but the British government like to change the rules on like how can you be British or how can you get a British passport. And so I just thought that it would be easier for that reason to have them in England. Do you struggle with different time zones while traveling? When you say struggle, in what way? You're actually the best mom ever. Ashki, you're very kind. I've never seen someone who's patient with their children. You know what's so funny? I don't consider myself that patient, but I will tell you that I do think that parenting has brought out a different kind of patience in me. But in general, I wouldn't consider myself that patient. Although people who have worked with me for many years have said that I'm patient. So maybe I'm more patient than I think I am. But yeah, I mean, children will also change you. Hi Noah, big up yourself, baby. How are you? Scrolling back through. You buy from Wally all the time. Next time you go to Wally, tell him that I said hi. How he would remember, tell him. So when I won Miss Jamaica, I literally went to Wally with a crown still in my head. So tell him that I said hi, please. Tell him the girl that always orders leg quarter, no ketchup, says hi. I would love a piece of pan chicken right now. Honestly, I'm really missing Jamaica. I think I'm a bit homesick. Don't get me wrong, like traveling is amazing, and of course it's a privilege, and I'm truly grateful for it. But I think a part of me just needs to kind of like reconnect back home. I've been trying to learn Portuguese for a few years. I need to take it more seriously. Yes, you need to immerse yourself, take it seriously, and also remember that if you give yourself no other option, your brain will find a way. So if you start telling yourself you're only going to speak Portuguese, I'm not saying that you'll have the entire vocabulary, but you will start to describe things. So for example, if I see something with my girls and I don't know the word for it, let's say I don't know the word for leaf. So leaf in French is feuille, but let's say I don't know that, right? I would say the green thing on the tree, right? So le truc vert sur l'arbre. Oui? So you kind of just things in a don't need all the words, of course, basic foundation, but just don't be intimidated by not knowing the words. I think sometimes as adults, we think that if we don't have the entire vocabulary down, then we can't speak. And the only way you're going to get better is by speaking. What brand is red lipstick you wear in your videos? So I have two types. Thank you. It is, one is the NARS Cosmetic, what is it called? Star Woman. And that one looks, I think, a little bit more matte. And then I have one that's a bit more glossy. It's a lipstick rather than a gloss thing. It's not, whatever. Yeah, clearly I'm not a makeup girl, but it's a lipstick, and my makeup artist gave it to me, and it is Charlotte Tilbury Red Carpet Red. The books you've read, your thoughts on social justice topics, cooking, your childhood experiences. Babes, you want to know all the things, Melinda. People don't listen long enough to understand what you really mean in your videos. Hannah, honestly, I think I think you're right. I think they don't. Even like I shared a video by basically saying to my kids that they were splashing pool water into his wine. And I was just saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And at the end of the video, I clearly explained why I referenced to his nationality and his race. And so many people in the comments were just like, why did you have to bring up he was white? Also, I think people need to understand in Jamaica, you can say the person's race as a means to identify them. It doesn't mean that you're being racist. So, for example, I had a friend who was from the UK living in Jamaica, and a lady working at the supermarket said, "White man, do you need some help?" And he was telling me this story, and he was just saying that he felt uncomfortable because she said white man. And I said to him, "Were there other white people in the aisle?" And he said, "No, he was the only white person there." And I said, "So are you not white?" And he was like, "Yes." I said, "So why would that be offensive?" But he was bringing his British like culture to Jamaica. Whereas in Jamaica, you call every Chinese person Mr. Chin. You call a tall person tall man. I mean, also we do a little bit of irony that you could have the shortest person in the room and his nickname is tall man. But you get the gist. You say things to describe people, but they're just descriptors. It doesn't mean that you're adding like undercurrents that are malicious or anything. Anyway, the point is, Hannah, I think you're right. People don't watch the video. Um, do you ever openly share what happened to the girl's dad? Is he your ex-husband? Does he see the girls? So I have never been married. A lot of people seem to think that I'm married currently, and apparently my husband pays for everything, and this husband that does not exist. I would love a husband, by the way, to pay for everything, but no. I've never been married, and I don't share anything about the dad because I don't know anything about him to share. It's only come up relatively recently, to be honest with you. It never used to come up at all, but all of a sudden recently everybody wants to know. And unfortunately, I can't really give you any information because I don't know anything. I absolutely admire the way you raise your kids. Thank you very much, Mr. Plenty. Big up yourself, baby. Where are we at? What age would you ever introduce foods that they may not be able to have? No, really great question. So, Miriam, for example, yesterday I had a conversation with the girls, and we have now decided that they are allowed to have dried fruit. So, my children are 5, just in case people don't know. And up until now, they were not allowed any dried fruit because it's really easy for like raisins or dried mango or whatever to get stuck in your teeth, or cranberries. And one of the leading causes of tooth decay is sugar just sitting on children's teeth. So even when you're having these little raisins in your lunchbox, a dentist will tell you that dried fruit is not great for little kids. And my main concern where dried fruit was that they would not feel it and take it out. So it could essentially just be sitting on their teeth all day. If you've ever seen my children eat a whole fish, they can filter out those bones like nobody's business. And so the other day we were having whole fish, and I was just so impressed. And I was like, cool. I think they're at an age now where if they had some, cranberry in a salad and it was stuck in their teeth, I think they would feel it and they would take it out. And so we spoke about it today, and we have agreed that we will now be adding dried fruit to the repertoire. So before now, they would always pick them out, and now they don't have to pick them out. So that's one of the things. I introduced bread and pasta after the age of 4. So as they get older, it's not really like I have a set age in my mind for certain things, but it's really about like their development and also what I think they can kind of understand. Another thing that people don't really appreciate about my style of parenting is that I like to keep things black and white for children as long as they need to be black and white. So I don't think that most children understand the nuances or like the area of gray. So when people talk about, for example, things are just a treat, in my mind, surely like eating, you should be able to eat as much as you want as a child, and you should also be able to eat as little as you want. So I never tell my children to finish a plate of food. I never tell them to have more. But the point is that if they want more, they can have as much as they like because whatever I've put on the plate is good for them. So this idea that, oh, well, they can just have like a treat on a Saturday, I just think it's bizarre. I don't think a 2-year-old understands why they can only have the ice cream on a Saturday. So I think it's about waiting until they're old enough to understand the why. And for me, explaining and communicating that why is super important, even more important than the rule itself. Hi, girl, back for another chat. Where in the world are you? Hello from France. Bisous, ma puce, ça va? We're in Indonesia, baby. At what age did you give them rice? So the girls had rice pretty early. Um, Thanks to their Chinese and black blood, babes. Yeah, they've had rice pretty early. However, I've always limited rice. So I was making rice prior to coming to Southeast Asia. They would have rice maybe once or like once every 2 to 3 weeks. I also don't eat rice, so it's easy not to give them rice. But I don't know if you've ever been to Southeast Asia or where you're from, babes, but Southeast Asia is a rice country. A rice continent. There's so much rice. So they definitely eat more rice now than they used to. However, it's funny, my children will tell you, like, if they are straining on the toilet or something, they'll be like, Mom, we can't eat rice. We can't eat so much rice. We need to eat more vegetables. So again, they understand the why. Um, I don't have children, but I love your videos and get trapped on your page watching all of them. Megan, big up yourself, babes. Do you struggle when you say about struggling with time zones? I'm not sure what you mean, baby. Jenica, are you traveling for work or just for experiences? Technically, I travel for work. I mean, I started traveling just to travel, to be honest with you, but I have a podcast, and the podcast requires that I meet people who have chosen to live abroad. So the podcast is Babes, How Did You Get Here? And I go to different countries and I interview guests who have moved to that country from somewhere else, and I speak to them about their experiences. So I have now managed to combine the work with the travel, if that makes sense. You're part Chinese? No, I'm not. No, baby, I'm not part Chinese. Their dad is half Chinese, half white. Scrolling through. Ah, what is going on? Sorry, I'm scrolling because there's just too much. Is the podcast on YouTube? It is. So yeah, so the podcast is monetized actually, S Flower. That was a lot easier than they were expecting. So the podcast, if you look up A Life Elsewhere, it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Okay, I'm back. L, thank you very much, my darling. Jenica, the world is too sensitive. Jamaicans say what they see and forever call slimmers. Big up yourself, babes. Yeah, the world is honestly, when I used to interview people, so as in to come and work with me, I would, go through the I would also say to them, do you have anything that you'd like to ask me? Sometimes I had questions, sometimes I didn't. But at that point, I would always say to them, if you are sensitive, please know that this is not the place for you. Because inside these walls, it is Jamaica. And there's just, it's not that I'm mean, but like you say, we just say what we think. And so it doesn't work if you're super sensitive. S Flow, sorry, I've got to go. Baby, thank you so much for coming, for interacting, and for motivating me to get on to the long form content on YouTube. Big up yourself, baby, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will try and jump on again tomorrow. Where are we at? You got Jamaican background. Everybody thinks I'm in Jamaica. I'm not in Jamaica, no. I wish I was in Jamaica. But yes, it does feel very Jamaica where I am. Hi, my darling. What foods do the girls mostly eat? That's a hard question. A good question, but a hard question. And so our breakfast is the same every morning. It is always scrambled eggs, and then it tends to be with some sort of complex carb on the side. But in terms of like day-to-day food, it's very veg-led, but they eat meat. And instead of rice, I use a lot of quinoa, a lot of lentils, bulgur as well. So it's kind of hard to say what they mostly eat, but it's beetroot. There's not a week that goes by that we do not eat beetroot. It's one of their favorite things. What's the reason for eating less rice? So I don't eat rice. When I was 14 or 15, I was in a modeling competition and they made crackers and water for like 3 weeks, and I just never went back to eating rice. I was never really a big fan of it. I love the smell of Jamaican rice and peas, like the coconut milk smell, and it's very nostalgic for me. If you invite me to your house, I will 100% eat the rice, but in general, I don't eat rice. I think it's a filler. A lot of people use it to bulk up their food, and I'd rather have your complex carbs over rice, which kind of it's more quickly digested and becomes sugar in the blood, basically. Lovely to see you live. I just came on. Where are you currently residing? D Bello babes, big up yourself. So I don't live anywhere. In a nutshell, I have not lived anywhere since January 2025. So we travel very, very often. Favorite place that you've traveled? So my favorite place other than Jamaica, of course, is Bali. Is definitely up there. My third spot is hard. It's hard. But I have realized through these travels that I can travel anywhere and be happy. As long as like my foundation stuff is covered, as long as I can eat well, as long as I can live in a very nice place, I can be anywhere and it's fine. I think I'm pretty adaptable like that. Breakfast, dinner, lunch is rice in Southeast Asia, 100%. 100%. Do you like America or Canada? So I love New York. I lived there for 4 years. It's very similar to London in my mind, just better. And it's only 3.5 hours from Jamaica. I've never been to Canada, which again sounds so silly because I should have gone to Canada, but I will make it there eventually. So I don't have an opinion on Canada because I've never been. I've never been. But I'd like to go. I'd like to go to Montreal, the French part. I'd like to absorb some of that culture. Although I will say Canadian French is nothing like French French. Like it's a struggle to understand for me. But I'd like to eat. Um, hey, sweet paws, big up yourself, baby. People from Jamaica have a great heart. I had a co-worker and she was amazing. Yes, we are. I tell people all the time, Jamaica, we're the land of extremes. When we're good, we're good. When we're bad, we're bad. We don't do anything in the middle. How do you eat so healthy if you're not based in one place? What do you mean, Bubs? So, I tend to cook every week, and I make sure that there's an oven. Which again, traveling through Southeast Asia was a challenge to make sure that there was an oven. But it doesn't really change in terms of what we eat. I don't, I don't really know why it would change. What do you mean? Help me answer your question. Would it be okay for me to DM? Of course, my darling. Send me a message. I know how important it is to have female role models. Send me a message, baby, and I will reply. Do the girls have porridge? No, they don't have porridge. So when they were just weaning, I used to make a rice porridge and an oat porridge, and then I started reading about porridge, and I was like, yeah, I don't think this is a good thing. So I opted for a high protein breakfast instead. Do I have a partner? No, babes, I don't. Have you ever won a cooking show? I've never been on a cooking show as in me competing. I only go on cooking shows to judge. Sweet potato. Yes, my children eat a lot of sweet potato. I love your videos. My children do not have any screen time too. Trinity, big up yourself, babes. What is your opinion on sleepovers for kids? It's not happening in my house. Yeah, I don't really get people's obsession with sleepovers. When I grew up, I had one friend that I was allowed to sleep at our house, and it was like a handful of times. But in general, I was not allowed to go at sleepovers. My dad would always say, "You don't have a bed to sleep in," and I would be allowed to go to the party or whatever. But yes, he's picking me up. Do your girls share a bedroom? Yes, they do. We have stayed in houses with 3 bedrooms, and it's very sweet because in the beginning they start off, they're like, "Oh, I want my own room." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool," and then they go in and so I'd read in one person's room and I'd alternate to keep it fair. And as soon as the book was finished and I put them to bed, I do hugs and put them to bed. Less than a minute, they're up, and one twin is at one door to ask to go into the room, and the other twin is at the other door to say where's her sister. It is the cutest thing. So even when there is space for them to have their own room, they just don't want it. It's so adorable. Where are we at? People, I'm trying to get to the bottom of these comments. and go to my bed because it is what time? I think it's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. You're literally who I aspire to be as an adult, for real, just without the children. Babes, big up yourself. I think you're amazing. You inspired me. My son is zero screen time. He's 3 and doing amazing. Lynn, thank you very much for sharing, and I'm glad that something was helpful. Come to Canada? What part, baby? Do you think your way of living is accessible for people who are of a lower class income? Yes. I think it is challenging. I think we all have our challenges. This year is the poorest I've ever been. This year of traveling is I've earned the least amount of money I've ever earned in my entire life. I think people a lot of times see certain things and they give reasons why it can't apply to them. No, don't get me wrong, food is expensive. I completely get it. But I also think that people choose what they want to spend their money on. So for example, my children will wear out the same clothes until there's like a hole in it. They do not have any fancy clothes. If you ever see them in anything fancy, best believe somebody else bought it for them. When I was in England, their clothes came from Asda. I'm just not into materialistic things like that. And the reason I share is because people choose what they want to spend their money on, right? So like even I didn't know what I was having, so I didn't before they came because I didn't know who I was decorating it for. And then you have other people where that's like the be all and end all, right? Is to spend all the money on the new decor and the new chair. Don't get me wrong, my pushchair was expensive, but it needed to be. I had twins and it can't be no deggy pushchair. But my point is that people choose where they want to spend their money. And the reason why I share a lot of what I share is because I do think it's a state of mind. I think you need to know that there's a problem with your food in order to want to change it. If you think that what you're eating is perfectly fine and it's great for your children, then you're going to continue doing that. And so it's not, I don't think that it is the travel part, by the way, 100%. I don't think that's on the cards. But in terms of the principles, like the not giving gifts, the not having screens, like not having a screen is probably cheaper than having like devices. You know, eating, as I mentioned, I'm not that out of touch with the world that it can be rough. I mean, my food bill in is crazy. But what it would mean is that you would have to take from other things if you had a low income. And also, it's not about like achieving when we talk about food. It's about an awareness that makes you make the best decision. I say to everybody all the time, we do the best that we can with the tools that we have. But if you immediately write off something and say, oh, that's okay for those people and not okay for me, then you're never going to make it happen. Have you ever, oh, you asked about the cooking show already. How was your experience on The Apprentice? Babes, can we do that for another live? Tomorrow. I'll jump on here tomorrow and we can talk all things The Apprentice. But in one sentence, it was not what I thought it was going to be. However, I'm glad that I had the experience because I would have always wondered what it would have been like. And 100% The Apprentice made my restaurant successful from the day I opened. So I'm forever grateful. Do I grow my own food? Babes, I don't even live in anywhere. I don't have a house. I don't have anywhere to live, let alone grow my own food. I live out of a suitcase. Are you only a food critic for MasterChef or do you sample restaurants? So I'm only a food critic on MasterChef. I'm not like a food critic that writes for papers or magazines or anything like that. Do the girls ever stay with their granddad? No, my children are always with me. Isa has a lot of topical health fruits and fish or meat. Enjoy the weather and local fruits in Bali. Big up yourself, baby. Scrolling through. Lord, have his mercy. Where are we at? I hope this isn't offensive. Are you a single mom? Not offensive at all, and yes, I am. Sorry to make you uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable. So perfect. You have a free room. Remember, tu peux m'adopter. Tu as 27 ans. Tu as rigolo. AF. The architect author, big up yourself, baby. Would you ever adopt kids? No, I can't afford more children. I love the idea of adoption, by the way, but I can't afford more children. So yes, I wouldn't adopt. Is eating instant ramen okay? People ask me if certain things are okay. If they're okay for you, then that's okay. Would I eat instant ramen? No. Delhi, big up yourself, baby. Have I got to the bottom of all of this? Are we finished? Um, Healthy by choice, babe. Big up yourself. Guys, we have been on here almost an hour and 30 minutes. We have made it to the end of the comments. This is the part where I love and leave you, and I thank you very much for joining me. And I hope that we can jump on again tomorrow. Enjoy. Oh, what's your favorite healthy breakfast? My children eat the same breakfast all the time: scrambled eggs and complex carbs on the side. You always come late, babes. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Okay. I will try and jump on again tomorrow. Have an amazing weekend, what's left of it. And as always, you guys have been amazing and really kind. So thank you for the kindness. Big up yourself, guys, and speak to you soon.